This is Open to Work, honest conversations about looking for work, getting work, and what to do when there is no work. My guest today is Mia de Rauch. Mia ran a production company which she opened and unfortunately had to fold a couple of years later, and I wanted to talk to her about what it was like when you need to close a chapter of your life. Mia, thank you for joining me today. So we met many years ago at a production company. Eventually we made a feature film together. After that, I moved back into TV. You went and started your production company, but then you did need to close it a couple of years later. So I just want to talk to you about what that experience is like. And I guess I want to start with, what were the steps that led to you making the decision to close its doors?
Look, it was a tough decision. All in all, we did that film when I was about 22. I'm almost 40 now, just aged just entirely, and now I just want to go get a walker. And I ended up sort of having that production business in all different facets of forms. Like we tried a few sort of different things within the production company, but sort of the final one was Flip Switch Media. It was a corporate. And we were sort of doing a lot of the social media things and things for small businesses, corporates, and actually did really well over COVID. Everyone was getting their COVID incentives. It was all about creating content. So we did really well. And I really wanted to sort of use that success to sort of expand it after COVID. But once COVID was done and no one was getting any incentives anymore, and the government was trying to get the money back from their incentives, we lost a lot of clients, whether they sort of brought a video person in-house or they just did not have the funds to be able to continuously be making content. It all just sort of folded. And on top of that, I ended up really quite unwell. So I was sort of back and forth from hospital and things were a bit messy. And so I just didn't really have the passion for it anymore. I didn't really feel desperate enough to try and cling on to something that I could see was not working. I just sort of had to end it all, including having to sort of lay people off, which sucked immensely, especially one of them I'd been working with for 10 years. He'd come to me as a 16-year-old. So that really sucked. The business is still technically open so that I can, do some short films on the side and still be creative, but we're not really, open to the same sort of work as we were.
I think this is a story that's familiar to many, particularly right now when, content is just being spread all over the place and a lot of it is going in-house and things like that. Yeah, I want to know emotionally what it was like for you at that time. And then how did you kind of reignite your passion for making stuff? Because, you've just won an award for a short film that you made. What opportunities opened up after you went through the emotional steps of closing its doors?
I guess the opportunity to actually work with different people, to work in other businesses, to the idea of taking the pressure off myself was insane. You've known me a long time, Ben. Like, I'm highly crazy ambitious, and I want to be the best at everything. And I think closing the business made me just go, is that really the priority? Like, do I really have to be like, the best production company in the world? What is that going to achieve, essentially? And so taking that out, and that was really hard. It was probably even harder on my partner because he had to listen to me waffling constantly about it. But actually being able to sort of open up and see different things, I went and worked in marketing for a little bit for a bigger company, and it was really fascinating to then be inside that. And that was a big corporate not-for-profit, and they still weren't creating content that I felt suited their level, and they weren't putting money into it, and they weren't making a profit. So that was an interesting look at things. And now I've completely left entirely. And a few weeks ago, I started on reception at a psychology clinic. And I'm actually feeling good. I'm not unwell all the time. I'm not stressed. And so it's opened up a space for me to actually be creative. Like, I've got the brain space to write scripts or go, hey, this might be fun. Or, a friend, I did produced a short film for a friend on the weekend. And I was able to go, yeah, awesome. I'd love to come and spend my Saturday doing that and help you out and support you in your achievements to try and become an amazing director. And he was fantastic as well. And so it's kind of nice to be able to still put back into the industry and support people that still have passion about it, but I don't live completely in that world.
Yeah, that's so interesting. And I've heard that from a few people who have either pivoted or done something. What are some of the challenges that come with running a production company that nobody tells you up front?
There's a lot. From the factor of having to do the left-right brain of, for my company, I was running the business. So I was on the zero, I was doing quotes, I was networking, I was talking to clients, I was, researching all these different industries. Like if a wine client came to us, I needed to research and see what was going on there. If a Pilates studio came to us, I then had to do that. And then on top of that, I was also trying to come up with the concepts, write scripts, supervise what was going on with the filming and the editing. And so you're just jumping back and forth from that business brain to creative. And it's just very draining. And, I find as well, most of the production companies that I know that are still going, they're 2 or 3 people bosses. Being your own, you have the outside support, but there's nobody who actually knows exactly what's going on, and every decision is on you. And so I can always look back and just go, there's no other excuse under the sun that then I did something wrong in that business and that's why it's gone down. And it's a tough space to be in.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's something that nobody really talks about 100%. And I guess, would have you done anything differently looking back?
No, I don't think I would have. I know where the downfall was in terms of me just going all in after COVID and going, yeah, I'm sick, but whatever, let's get another producer on board. Let's invest in some advertising. Let's do this, let's do that. I didn't know the economy was going to crash. So I would honestly probably still do exactly the same thing.
It's interesting the path that you've taken. You talked about you're on working in a different area now. Was it hard to get those jobs? Do people look at your CV and think, well, how do your skills as a production company manager translate to this industry?
Yeah, it was really hard. When I first went, done with the business, it took 9 months to find another job in marketing. And even then, I think that I was their third choice. And we had this discussion as well of going, no one completely understands the versatility of somebody in the production company world and in the TV world, even in the event space. I went for jobs, as an event assistant, things like that. You are organizing one event, maybe once a month if you're lucky. On a film, you're doing an event every single day for 6 weeks. You're organizing up to hundreds of people, plus props, plus locations. You're organizing and figuring out all these different managerial things that are going on, and you're organizing a schedule every day that has to stick to those exact times. But somehow events are like, oh, no, you wouldn't know how to run an event.
So how did you convince them? What got you across the line?
I think in terms of that marketing job, my experience in video kind of helped in that sort of space. Trust me, I went for jobs in production. I looked at video production companies that were hiring. Oz Stereo, Southern Cross, all of that, because I also have experience in podcasts. I went for a job as a podcast producer for Channel 9 with the whole, I literally have 2 successful podcasts right now. We're doing this. This is what I do, producing, hosting on it. Nothing. Not even first call. And so that's why I kind of went, I'll try marketing. Still not even a call, not even anything with my resume. And I'm sort of sitting here going, I have 25 years in this industry. I have 20 of it pretty much running my own companies, and crickets.
I think many are going through similar experiences now. I see it a lot on LinkedIn. People are open to work. People are pivoting left, right, and centre. What would you say to somebody who's going through what you went through?
I would say it's completely shit. It just can I swear? It fucking sucks. There's so many. You start out in an industry that you think is going to be amazing, and as we all know, it's not amazing. It's dirty, it's grimy, it's hard. You're constantly having to sell yourself. It's very, very rare to be able to sort of get a 9 to 5 on it, and keep that 9 to 5 past your contract. You're constantly jumping. You're constantly having to do new things, and then for it to not even be valued in another industry, like, it just sucks. I honestly have no other advice as such to give other than just keep trying and look in places that you didn't think would be an option, and look past that dream, look past what you had assumed to be, and try something different. Like, 25 years in the industry, and I've just pushed that all aside and trying something new.
Yeah, fair enough. I think that's honest and great advice. You mentioned you've got 2 good podcasts, or 2 successful podcasts. Give us a plug. Where can we find them?
Well, you can find Hollywoodland podcast on Apple and Spotify. We do some amazing stories about, mysteries that have happened within old Hollywood, very much the golden age of cinema. And my hosting colleague has just done an interview with Marie Janice Cooper, which is incredible. So I'm super proud of her for getting that up and running. If you're into chronic illness, I also have a Chronic Convos podcast where I speak to people about their chronic illness and how they go about their lives dealing with that on top of everything else.
Amazing. It's so good to catch up with you, Mia. I always love chatting with you because you're always straight to the point. You're a straight shooter. Thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me on.
Thanks to my guest, Mia de Rauch. Thanks to lowkii Productions for helping me put this all together. And thanks to you for watching. See you next time.